Check out
Darksydephil the Lolcow
in Phil of the Future next.
Yeah. Derek, good luck on your driving test tomorrow.
In Life with Derek.
Okay, so please, let's get some support going today. Let's get our first support rolling in, shall we? Let's get our first super chat. We don't have one yet. Let's get our first membership. We don't have one yet. Let's get our first sub of the week over on Kick because we don't have one yet. But what we do have are a couple of tips. So I know that my PayPal works. Let's shout out these tips. Someone insulted my looks right away, so I'll go ahead and ignore them. Then we've got another troll. So the two, all right, we have nothing. We have no support because the first two pieces of support are trolls who I refuse to read. So who's going to be the first super chat? Who's going to be the first tip that's not Olympic loser? Who's going to be the first member and who is going to be the first sub? Let's find out. Let's get some support for the streams. All right, let's do it. Come on. Okay, so we've got a good amount of extra time to hang out and chill. I don't have any particular topics today. There's no real gaming news or anything right now going on. So let's chill for a bit. Tag me in the chat. Here, I'll type here. If you'd like to see me talk, or if you'd like to see me talk, if you want to see me respond, if you want to ask me a question, you know, that now is the time. We'll do some back and forth Q&A. And let's get some support. So far, we got 2 super chats and 1 tip. Let's get our first membership. Let's get our first sub. Let's get some support rolling here today. Like I said, 8 streams, 8 goals. If we hit all the goals, we'll be doing DSP Tries It when I return on Saturday. If we actually get more than that, then we can actually do DSP Tries It earlier than that, maybe on Wednesday. So let's get some support rolling, please. And thank you. Wow, what a name. Someone named Reluctant Hand Job did a $5 super chat. What a name. And they said, I am just learning of you from documentaries. So many questions. Please explain empty game boxes as prizes. Yes, I never sent empty game boxes as prizes. It never happened. Okay. That's a meme that was made up by my detractors over a decade ago. And for some reason it stuck, even though it's not true at all. I would buy the collector's edition of a game. Okay. So I would have an art book and I would have the soundtrack and I would have the, you know, extra things that come with it, whatever they may be, because there's usually a lot of stuff that comes with the collector's edition. So sometimes I would give away the collector's edition materials of a game that you could not buy. You had to have bought the collector's edition to get it. And sometimes the collector's editions were sold out. So you had no way to even get that content, even if you wanted it. So most of the time, all right, when I gave stuff away, it was stuff that I didn't need anymore. There was like a huge deal at GameStop where if you traded in like 5 games at once, you'd get like tons of bonus money. This is a long time ago. They don't do this anymore. But there were some cases where like 3 games would come out in a week. I'd beat all 3 in a week, trade them in, and get almost like all my money back. I get like 60, 70% of my money back for the trade-ins because I beat them so fast and traded them in right away. So there were some cases where I didn't have the games anymore, but I was still left with other stuff. So when you hear Phil gave away an empty game box, it's not like I would say, hey, everyone, look, here's the game I played this week and I'm keeping the game and I'm going to mail you the box. That's the reward for a contest. No, people outright knew what they were entering for. They knew the content that they were getting. They would want to autograph in addition. You were getting a lot of stuff if you won the contest. It wasn't just, oh, an empty game box and nothing else. But it's easy to say that when you just want to spin it in a very negative way. The one that people bring up, I think it was a Deus Ex game where I'd bought the collector's edition that had all of this extra shit. And then my detractors were like, so he gave me, or he gave out an empty box. No, I didn't. I gave a whole bunch of content and an autograph. That was what the contest was for. And literal hundreds plus people wanted it. And one lucky person won it. What's wrong with that? They just want to say, Phil gave away empty game boxes. It's just like everything. If you take something out of context and you spin it in your own toxic way for your own bizarre purposes, you can get anyone to believe anything because there's so many morons on this planet. There's still to this day people who think I'm terrible at Street Fighter. There's still to this day people who think I've never been good at any game I've ever played. The infamous example of that was the dumb meme back when I was playing Doom a few months ago, where someone clipped out of context me in a room taking cover and then firing a little and taking cover and firing a little. And they're like, this is how this games journalist plays Doom. He's terrible at the game. And everyone laughs. Oh, he should just not play the game. He should delete the game, whatever. That was the one room in the game where you had to play like that because the room is full of explosive barrels that if you go charging in head first, they blow up and you instantly die. You have to play it safe. That's the one room in the game you have to do that. I know because I had already died in that room. I charged in playing it like Doom and blew everything up and I died. I said, oh shit, I didn't know that. So then I had to redo the room and play it carefully so I didn't die. But if you take it out of context and give it to a bunch of ignorant idiots, the ignorant idiots will eat it up and give you views and give you viral popularity. And that's why people do this shit. So when you hear Phil gave away empty game boxes, that's one insanely small piece of a giant picture that's taken out of context to make it sound bad, but it's not actually what happened. Just like, oh, you see, this is how this guy, Phil, the games journalist, plays Doom. No, that's how I played one tiny part of Doom where you're required to play like that because otherwise you die instantly. But don't show the rest of my gameplay of Doom, right? Don't show me playing Street Fighter and kicking everyone's ass. Don't show me playing Mario Kart World and beating my detractors as they're stream sniping me and still win. Don't show the moments of good gameplay and greatness that actually are true. Instead, take something out of context and lie about it so you can get your laughs and your views and your memes, right? How dumb is that? Incredibly fucking stupid. That's correct. When people steal my content, post it out of context to do one of these social media posts, and they're getting millions of views, they're probably making good money on that. I would bet they're probably making, I'm not kidding, hundreds to thousands of dollars on those posts, which are completely disingenuous garbage, but people are too fucking mouth-drooling stupid to know the difference. So they just laugh at it and think it's funny that they move on to the next meme that they found on Twitter or the next thing they saw on TikTok. That's how dumb they are. They're just fucking morons. What do I do that makes so many people angry with me and want to participate and hate toward me? Well, the people we're talking about, for example, people involved in these memes and things, okay, that's different. The people who watch those memes and all of that, that has nothing to do with mainstream haters or anything like that. These are ignorant people who don't even know who I am. So they watch the clip and they laugh and they move on to the next clip. There's no mean-spirited hate towards me from the social media posts, like people watching those posts. That's not the case. The case is people have found out that monetizing negativity towards me is profitable. That if you take toxic content about Darksydephil, that people will watch it, engage, support with it, and make money. That's the truth. It's for me, the reason why people do it is because they benefit. They would not be doing it if they weren't making bank doing it. If all the monetization of it went away, it would end overnight. They would move on to something else that they could try to basically grift. You know? It didn't used to be like that. There legit used to be people so obsessed with me that they would do it just for the love of trying to ruin my life. But I don't really legit think that happens anymore. I actually think that these are just grifters. Okay. Well, unless anyone else has anything else to talk about, I think we're going to end the show and get set up here to start gameplay. Any last minute stuff going on? Loose Lucy says, Duty tried to monetize Wings before. It completely failed, so now he moved on to you. Right. Again, that's all they're doing. They're grifters. It's that simple. If there was no money to be had, they would move on. They would not be here. They would not be watching my content, doing negative stuff with it. They're only here to make money. So, all right. Well, everyone, I guess it's time to end the show. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Cool. All right. All right, guys, we're going to get set up. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what just happened on that podcast. As you can see, one of the least supported podcasts I've done in ages. Recently, my podcasts have been doing really well. We get a lot of support before we even jump into a game, which is great. Today, it's the complete opposite. I don't know if it's because we're playing a new game I don't know. People said they wanted this and asked me to put it in the rotation, months ago. I had completely forgotten about the game. And now we finally got around to doing it. It's not even a week old. The game only came out like 4 or 5 days ago. So hopefully you guys will stick around and we'll enjoy this game together and you'll support it. It would really suck to have a week we're starting off, with incredibly bad support. So I hope that's not the case. All right. So guys, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in a few. This will be the only break of the stream. So I shall return. And then we're going to do about 2.5 hours of Luto and see how scary this game actually is. I haven't booted it up yet, so we'll find out together. It would be great if when I come back, we could get some support. Literally sitting on like 16, 17 bucks of support going into the new day is not good. So hopefully we can get some. All right. Plus, if it's a horror game, I'm going to be immersed in it. I'm not going to want to be taking breaks to do shout outs and stuff, right? So please, can we get our first sub of the day, some memberships? A tip bigger than $1 would be great. But in the meantime, enjoy some highlight clips here on the channel, okay?
Hey, don't go away. Life with Derek is next.
Then I can't unfuck her sister. And sister.
So, but why is it in my forum? It has nothing to do with it.